is Whitney Myers, and I work with academically gifted students at North Vermilion High School, Abbeville High School, and North Vermilion Middle School in Vermilion Parish. As an educator, I am most passionate about creating opportunities for students to think critically and use their voices to advocate for themselves and for others. The students in today's video are grades 9 through 12 high school students at North Vermilion High School. Since I work with academically gifted students in an enrichment setting, I create most of my own curriculum and focus on the standards developed by the National Association of Gifted Children. TAG is messy. My students come to TAG as their schedules allow. Many of them are taking honors courses and dual enrollment courses. I am on campus and available to them at various times throughout the week in an effort to create a flexibility within the program that encourages their attendance and does not create an additional stressor for them. TAG is an opportunity for them to shed the masks they often wear in their regular classes and work with other students in a completely different environment. Within the TAG room, these students collaborate with one another seamlessly. They recognize the common thread uniting them. For me, this is the magic of TAG. However, the structure, or lack thereof, lends itself to a fair amount of chaos and a messiness within our activities. You never know who is going to be here or how long they're going to be able to stay. So I take the time we have and make the most of it. My students are academically gifted, but none of them are the same. Their strengths vary, their weaknesses vary. I am constantly surprised by their depth of understanding, their wisdom, and their breadth of knowledge. They are also extremely silly, exuberantly passionate, and hilarious. Many of them are driven perfectionists, while others are fueled by the rush of procrastination. By design, TAG is their safe place. I adore them, and they know it. The goal for today's activities focuses on students sharing their perceptions regarding various aspects of learning and then creating a list of the top 5 life lessons for students to learn by graduation. This particular activity is part of a conversation about teaching, learning, and education that we have been having over the last few years. These kids are highly invested in learning. They want to learn, and they want to be taught. In previous meetings, we have discussed topics such as student engagement, cheating, and apathy. This lesson connects to my overall goal of creating opportunities for my students to wrestle with the issues that are not only relevant to them now as students, but those that will be relevant to them in the future as parents and as the leaders within our communities and state. I want them to understand themselves as learners and to recognize the challenges that their teachers face. I also want them to note all the external forces that shape our schools. Today's lesson is part of this process. I expect it to be loud, and I expect side conversations and seemingly off-task behavior. In the regular classroom, those things can be detrimental to the overall learning. In TAG, it's part of the fabric. My kids tend to like to have 5 things going on at once. I expect to be interrupted by the rooster doorbell that's going to ring multiple times as kids come in, and by the bell as students move to the next class. In TAG, we just keep going. The activity will begin with a flash philosophy, where students quickly respond to and then discuss the question, who is most responsible for your learning? The purpose of this activity is to get them thinking about the topic and to be ready to engage in meaningful conversations. We will then establish some context. The heart of the activity is the 4 corners discussion, where students move around the room, agreeing and disagreeing with statements on the board. This is my favorite part. This is where they articulate their own ideas and process the ideas of their peers. I often restate or elaborate on their thoughts. Sometimes I will challenge their ideas as well. They know that devil's advocate is one of my favorite roles to play. The activity culminates with students creating a top 5 list of the most important life lessons for students to learn at school. Again, the process is more important than the product. It is the discussion and evaluation of life lessons, of our educational system, of learning, of teaching, that is critical to this portion of the activity. In education, read carefully and then find your corner.
like money for it, I'm not going to use like how to calculate you know, most people aren't going to use like how to calculate the slope of a line. You know?
So, but you keep going back to slope and algebra and the pointlessness of it. I mean, I hear that conversation, I hear that pop up, especially by freshmen who are taking algebra. What is the purpose of algebra? Why do we teach algebra and higher level math to students who may or may not go into a it's problem solving. Algebra is teaching you how to think.
And then a lot of stuff like in businesses, like along with finances, like a lot of it is like, oh, why do you guys think could be like, here's how much money I have.
Yes. Okay. It is the nature of the beast. I know some of you have to leave and go to your next hour class. Thank you. If you are able to come back, come back. We will continue. If you're not, I will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful weekend. And here, it's this, and it's beautiful. And I will be honest with you, that is my absolute favorite thing about how our TAG program is structured. You may not see how important it is right now, or you may. But 10 years from now, when you look back on the experiences you had working with people who were so vastly different, but then so similar to you, it is going to be a valuable skill that you've learned.
Yeah, and who brings us together? You.
And that is the beauty of my job. And so there was a purpose to school. Back in the 1800s, Horace Mann, the insurance guy, there's a whole insurance company now that is Horace Mann. He is considered the father of education. And he's the one who began to advocate for public schools. So this was kind of groundbreaking. And the common school emphasized that a public investment in education, so money was being spent, tax money was being spent, would benefit the whole nation by transforming children into literate, moral, and productive citizens. So the original foundation was to make you literate, which means what?
You can read
and write.
You can read, write, and
Which
understand.
gives you freedom to think for yourself.
Okay. Moral.
You know,
School
establishing.
does that one very much.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. Whenever you come to school, you're kind of finding yourself out because you're seeing other people's morals all around you, and you're saying, "Ooh, I don't like that. I like that. I don't like that." Like you're seeing other people's opinions, and you can conform to the law and say what you like and you don't.
Do we
like.
tell you to not cheat?
Yeah.
So don't lie.
Yeah.
Do we tell you to treat one another with respect and kindness? I mean, aren't
You
those...
say it, but that's what
I disagree with the moral thing still. I can't really articulate it right now, but I disagree.
Our number is shifted. That door is locked? Okay, lock that door. Right now we're trying to decide literate, moral, and productive citizens. Literate, they're kind of... Oh, everybody's okay with literate. Y'all agree with that
I
one?
mean, I can't read the board at all, but I think so, yeah.
What do you mean by that?
He's not literate.
Moral, we're having a bit of a conversation about. Do you think that schools lay some type of foundation for morality?
I don't think it does a good one.
A little bit, but not very
I feel like
effective.
more in the elementary stages it does. It just be like being a productive person, like helping out.
Not
They
joining
were
the
worried
union,
about not dying.
working on the
Yeah.
railroad.
Yeah.
Like the plague.
Like,
So
I think that seeing the shift from when they weren't able to read, and like
Because,
we're learning
yes.
about that in history. When they weren't able to read, they were more easily influenced. So I think seeing that shift into them being able to read, then they can kind of form their own opinions. And I think seeing that is like
So
that's just
200
cool.
years later, we got a lot of people who can read and a lot of opinions,
A lot of
that have
opinions
been
because
formed.
everyone
And
can
a lot
now
of opinions that
make
have been
their own
influenced
opinions
because
and
they can
read
read
And they can
things that aren't
educate
necessarily true.
Right.
Do you
This is the 5 things that you think every graduating senior should, without question, know, do, come away from school having learned. You can work by yourself, you can work with a partner, you can brainstorm your ideas, and then you can use the poster paper or you can use a piece of paper. You can work all together unless you want to splinter and work solo.
others, keep going.
Emotional maturity.
Maturity?
social awareness.
Social awareness is a good
Yeah,
one.
how to socialize and work as a team.
Okay, I'm not completely stepping away because I am going to tell you have to put them in order from 1 to 5 at the end of the one that is most important to the...
We're just brainstorming.
I know. I just wanted to make sure I qualified it. Okay, I'm leaving you alone.
Critical thinking
Or
and
awareness.
application together, kind of.
Responsibility / time.
Critical thinking and
Yeah.
application
Yeah, that's
together, I feel like.
Yeah.
taking account,
That's pretty good.
learning that, I don't know if this is part of social awareness, but like kind of learning that other people are different and that's okay.
Yeah, you have to
know, like,
respect other people.
open-mindedness.
Yes, that's something definitely that can
And
be
like
learned.
respect goes with that.
Well, I think we should start off by eliminating some.
Okay.
Yeah, that will definitely not be number one.
I think
I feel like social
Or things that can
awareness-
go together.
Yeah.
could emotional
Let's start with things
maturity.
that go
Social
together.
awareness.
These two go together.
Yeah. Emotional maturity and social awareness. I feel like that could go together pretty
Yeah,
well.
and
I think
And
emotional
open-mindedness.
maturity and open-mindedness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Yeah.
So you can like put the same shapes behind it.
Like a poetry thing, like A B.
Oh.
A
Okay.
B B.
That's what we're doing.
That works
You
too.
could also highlight them certain colors too if you felt.
I feel like responsibility
Learning how
and
to organize a
accountability can
list.
be together.
Making lists.
Those go together. These two go together. What did you say?
Responsibility and accountability, those can kind of go together.
Yeah.
Because taking accountability can be a part of it. What's the least important out of all of these?
Um,
Let's say
Literacy.
literacy. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, academic literacy goes to the bottom.
Yeah, the one thing that you should learn in school that's like bottom 5 academic literacy.
But it made the top 5,
I'm
so I
surprised
guess I'll
it
be
even
okay
made
with
the
that.
list.
Well, you're also talking to a bunch of tech kids.
I mean, that is the most basic, basic.
And for us, that's not too hard to learn.
Okay, what's next?
I think. Wait, what's the difference between inner and intro? Like, which
Okay,
one?
inter is within yourself.
Okay.
Intra is with other people.
I think intro
think.
is more important than inter.
I think interest should be
When
3.
taking
Or is
this
it-
into application of real
Time
world
out.
Yes.
Or is it the opposite? Interstates go from one state to another.
Oh wait, we learned this in
Intra
biology.
is within yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Inter is,
With other people.
yes,
Yeah.
intersecting with other
interpersonal.
people.
Yeah.
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 Well,
Interpersonal
Yeah.
relationship was
Yeah.
intra.
if you're not okay with
I think-
yourself, how can you go with other people and be okay?
Yeah, I feel like
I
intro is
understand.
kind of more
You need
important
to
because it
know
can
yourself.
bleed into intro. Because like if you don't have your own emotional awareness, how are you supposed to be aware of this? Okay, I feel like those are important,
I think-
but is it as important as the social part?
I think the pink one should go forward.
I feel like if you learn this, you're
And then
not gonna have a
academic
mentor
literacy.
with it.
I think that
You're
should
gonna
be.
That should be 3 then, and then put.
But not with the emotional part. Like yes, with like school, sure, but like the emotional part of the social things happening around you is what I was taking like intra emotional maturity.
Done.
As usual, I was impressed, surprised, and somewhat perplexed by their responses and our discussion. My objectives were definitely met in that students deepening their understanding of learning, as well as the life lessons that are taught alongside the academic content and skills. The top 5 list was insightful and captured the essence of what I strive to do as an educator. I embrace the messiness of TAG and the learning in that I appreciate that stuff does not go according to plan in my classroom. The longer I work with gifted students, the less stressed I am about the perfect lesson and the more focused I am on finding the value in the imperfection. Gifted students often want everything to be just so, to be perfect, to be the best. I want them to know that sometimes it's okay to mess up and to keep going and to keep moving forward. We will continue talking about the ideas we discussed today. I will have different groups of students evaluate and then create their own top 5 lists. I will challenge their lists and see if they will question their own choices or further justify them. Over the next few weeks, we are going to dive into the world of artificial intelligence and its implications for learning, teaching, and society in general. My students are amazing, and I am grateful that they were identified as gifted. However, my heart breaks for those gifted students who have not been identified and who have not been afforded the opportunity to understand themselves and the world around them the way these kids do. So many of our underachieving gifted students are not identified and do not receive the support they need to be successful and to be better understood and to better understand their own unique needs.